Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Craig Campbell from Pastor Craig's Cards, and boy, I love the cover of that book, and it's kind of the book that I use for my background for doing these videos, the glory of their time. And as we're looking at really the stories behind the cardboard, the person behind the cardboard, and today is kind of a special one. I sure wish that everybody would know the name Walt Bond. Here you can see this nice 1961 Topps. He was an outfielder with the Cleveland Indians and pretty well centered for a 61. So often they're not centered well. And on the back you can see this is number 334. And if you look at Walt's size there, you can see he was 6'6" and 200. He was really about 6'7" and 220 is what they listed him at as his playing weight. And he played outfield and first base. Walt Bond, just a great story. And I wish everybody knew his name as well as we all knew the name of Barry Bonds, and but we have Walt Bond. And he came into the minor leagues in 1957, but one of the first things about Walt is that he was one of the very last of the players for the Kansas City Monarchs in the Negro League. I don't know exactly how many games he played for the Kansas City Monarchs, but he was listed as a member of that team. And Walt then came into the minor leagues in 1957 with the Cleveland Indians franchise. And then he played in the major leagues from 60 to 67 for the Indians, the Astros, and the Twins. And his rookie card is a 1960 Topps baseball card, and his last card is a 1967 Topps. Now, Walt, he was diagnosed in 1962, while with the United States Army. He was diagnosed with leukemia. And he played 5 years of baseball with leukemia. And he's, as I said, he stood 6'7", about 228 pounds, is what they listed him as his playing weight. And he was a power hitter in the minor leagues, and he also hit for average. He hit 299. And so he was a good player, a good hitter, good power, and he also had a good glove. And the thing is, it's amazing, in 1962, after he was diagnosed with leukemia, he batted .320 in 132 games with the Salt Lake Bees, a AAA team in the PCL. And he gets called up then, and he spent 12 games with Cleveland. 12 games. In 1962, he had 6 home runs in 50 at-bats with 17 RBI, and he hit .380 in 12 games in Major League Baseball. In one of the games in Kansas City, he hit 2 home runs. I think he had like 8 RBI in one game. Yet, he spent the entire 1963 season in the minor leagues. Never got a call-up. After having a showing like that of 12 games, hitting 6 home runs, batting .380. Can you imagine in this day and age what a player like that, if he came up at the end of a season and had that kind of a showing? I mean, my oh my. He would have been the next big thing. He was acquired by the Houston Colt 45s, which became the Astros in 1963. The team doctor was aware of his leukemia, but they thought it was in remission. And then in 1964, he got his chance. He became the starting first baseman for the Colt 45s. He hit 20 home runs with 85 RBI in 148 games. But then in 1965, his numbers really slumped again. And a lot of people looking back think that the effects of leukemia had really hit him hard in 1965. And then he was traded to the Twins. And in 1966, they put him back down to AAA. And again, he hit .316 in AAA with 18 home runs. He got called up in 1967. He made the team, I should say, out of spring training with the Twins in 1967. He hit .313 for his first month. Things were looking good. But then he had a sharp decline in his health. He was released in May by the Twins. He signed on with a Jacksonville team in AAA, and he played about 5 games with them. And then he was admitted into a hospital in Houston as his health was declining rapidly. And Walt Bond passed away at the age of 29 years and 11 months, just a few days shy of his 30th birthday on September 14th of 1967. Due to his Army service, he was interred in the Houston National Cemetery. Walt Bond ended up getting 1,199 at-bats in the major leagues, almost 1,200 at-bats. He hit .256 with 41 home runs and 179 RBI with 40 doubles, 11 triples, 307 total hits, and 149 runs. But what could have been for Walt Bond? What could have been? Again, 6'7", 230 pounds, a power hitter. You can see the numbers that he was putting up when healthy. A tremendous power, good average, had a very good glove, but just never really got a chance to shine due to his health. And I've got to wonder what was going on in Cleveland, why they did not bring him up in 1963 after that showing in 12 games. And he had a good spring training, from all understanding, in 1963, but they left him in AAA. And who knows what could have been. Houston, the Colt 45s, and then the Astros went to the Astrodome. You know, they say his leukemia came back, but, you know, playing in the Astrodome in 1965 was like playing it was not good for power hitters at all, because the park was so big, the ball didn't carry, and so on. But Walt Bond, what a great story. One of the last Negro League players. Never really got, I don't think, a fair shake from Cleveland. When he showed some really, really good promise, they just didn't give him a chance. And then the tragedy of leukemia, and struggling really with that from 1962 all the way up through the 66 into the 67 season. A remarkable story. Walt Bond. I really wish that his name was so much more well known. It's a great story. It's a tragedy for a young man to die before the age of 30 with so much promise on the baseball field. But that is the story behind the cardboard. And you have an opportunity to get a Walt Bond card, I would do it. His rookie card again, 1960. His last card, 1967. One of the last players to play in the Negro Leagues with the Kansas City Monarchs and then make it to the MLB. It's a great story. Walt Bond. The story behind the cardboard. This is what the hobby's about, guys. It's not about PSA and shill bidding and all the other issues that we see throughout the hobby. It's about the joy of owning cards. They don't have to be the big cards. It can be the small cards. You could probably pick up a Walt Bond card for $1. But it's the story behind the cardboard that I'm interested in. I love the stories of these players that are baseball. Guys that make baseball what it is. And I really, truly wish that I could have had a chance to see Walt Bond play, because I love the story behind the cardboard. Guys, enjoy this hobby. Keep on collecting. Remember, it's about the cards. It's about the cards. Take care.